Excuse me. Commissioner Williams, you're muted, but you're here.
Here.
Commissioner Farrow,
Present.
Commissioner Diaz. Commissioner Diaz is here. Commissioner Roach is here. Therefore, we have a quorum. The acceptance of the minutes of the regular board meeting, which was held on December 17th. Unless there's any questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved.
Okay, it's moved by Commissioner Diaz and seconded by Commissioner Williams. Please don't be shy, folks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are any opposed? Okay, those are accepted. Next is the acceptance of the meeting, the minutes of the special board meeting, which we held on January 8th. I'll entertain a motion to accept those unless there's any questions.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay. Minutes for both meetings have been accepted. Next item is the report from the Chief of Police. Chief, you got some good news for us, I believe.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you guys received the packet of information that Lieutenant Lyons sent to you. Just a couple items, and Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Cruz came to my office and we went through this. We had a really productive meeting. But just to look at our crime stats, so I'm in the process of doing community meetings and things like that, just going over our year-end crime stats, and I'll just briefly touch on a couple of them that shows that we have been trending down for the most part. If you look at as it relates to shootings and homicides, we're down considerably as it relates to 2020 when we were at 138 total, and we're down. Last year was 53. Also, our shot spotter activations were down from a high in, I would say, 2021 of 1,183 to 702 last year. Aggravated assaults, again, trended down. In 2020, there was 374. 2024, we have 264. I'll just highlight a couple of them. So we are up in our motor vehicle thefts, but it is the area that we are continuously struggling with. We still have Operation Wingspan, which is a regional task force made up of Fairfield, Stratford, Trumbull, Westport was a part of it. They don't have a detective anymore. We're hoping to re-engage them. So we are working with them, working with our task force to address our stolen or our auto theft issue. Overall, we're trending in the right direction as it relates to crime. But again, crime numbers are only numbers, and they're an indicator, and they help guide us in how we allocate our resources. However, perception is still the main thing, so people don't feel safe. That's our biggest concern, and we'll continue to work at that. But the information that was given to you, if you at your leisure, take a look at it. If there's any questions, reach out to me and we can go over this stuff. So we're going to be doing these meetings probably for the next. We've done already. I've done like 2 or 3 already. I have to reschedule with the BRBBC, but we're gonna be doing one this Saturday at one of the libraries. So we're going to do these probably for the next couple of weeks, maybe into mid-February, and then we'll stop talking about last year's numbers and just work on what we're going to be doing going forward. One of the things she did give you guys, Lieutenant Lyons did give to you, was one of our pamphlets. I'll hold it up here too, and it's just a outline of the 21st century policing practices, and it really highlights the 6 pillars. And those 6 pillars are the main focus of the study done by the President Obama's task force in 2015. And this is kind of what we try to operate under, these particular principles. It was a part of the strategic plan that I put in place when I became chief, and that continues to be how we try to go about policing in the city of Bridgeport. And I think if you look at our numbers and just our favorability and our community engagements, I think all of these things have led to kind of trending us in the right direction as it relates to crime reduction in the city of Bridgeport. So I'm really excited about that. The key to this stuff is staying consistent and stay in the course. Crime goes in ebbs and flows. So we're going to continue to stay the course. One of the things I'm particularly, and I know I'm not sure if Lieutenant Roseman's on here, but we do have, he's going to go over our crime stats. What I'm really pleased to note also that our citizens' complaints are down from last year versus this year. And he put together a nice presentation for each of you. and you'll see that complaints have been trending down, which means we're providing quality professional police services and we're not getting complaints. So, or we're getting less complaints. So that means the citizenry is happy or pleased with what we're doing. And I think the reason why you see that is a result of the practices of the 21st century policing, where we're engaging more, we're much more transparent. All of our information is shared. So I think that has a lot to do with it. One of the stats he did say he cited was the chief internal investigations are up slightly. But please note that those include like suicide attempts and things like that. So we're going to work on putting together a system that accurately depicts the internal complaints. So we may move that out and have that done by in another way, so it doesn't cloud actual complaints. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the overall numbers. But again, this is just a snapshot, and if people aren't safe or they feel safe, it really kind of puts our numbers into a different perspective. I do want to highlight, so last week, I think Commissioner Roach, I'm not sure if you were there, we swore in a lateral transfer. We had an officer, his name is Officer, I think it's Sinclair. He transferred in from New London Police Department, and he joined the city of Bridgeport. So the lateral program is starting to help us attract and get more officers. So I think now we've taken in 4 lateral police officers that came from other departments. This particular officer, he was in New London, and prior to being in New London, he was a Baltimore police officer. And so we have him on board. He'll be training for like the next week or two, and then he'll be on the road as well. So we continue to look to grow the department. So right now with him, we're at about 311 police officers, and we have a class that's going to be graduating on February 5th. We'll send out the invitations for that, and we're processing OIAs in the process now, I believe, of doing background checks or for candidates who are going through the process. So we'll probably start another class sometime this spring. So we're heading in a good direction. And so I'm pretty excited about those things. So with that, I'll take some questions. But please, when you get a chance, take a look at the strategic plan. Take a look at the crime stats that was given to you, as well as the pamphlet on the 21st century policing.
Thanks, Chief. That's great stuff. Just a quick question. Lateral transfers, the training process, you said it is like a week or two?
Yeah, because they're already certified police officers in the state of Connecticut, so we'll do like about 2 weeks of training just to get them updated on some of the Bridgeport ordinances and some of our policies and things like that, and just kind of get them the lay of the land of the city of Bridgeport. So usually that lasts about 2 weeks, but it depends on the individual. If we feel they need more time, we'll keep them longer, and then we pair them with a veteran police officer as well, a veteran Bridgeport police officer.
Looks like this last one's been around the block a little bit, though, right? You're saying between New London and Baltimore?
Yeah, he's a young guy, though. Yeah, he was in Baltimore, and then he went to New London. He wanted to move back to Connecticut. He's originally from, I believe, Cheshire.
Okay, no, that's great. And I mean, you're talking, a couple weeks as opposed to months when it comes to the academy. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, no,
this is really helpful.
That's a big help. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any questions for the chief?
No, tell him thank you.
I don't know if you heard Commissioner.
Yeah, I heard.
Diaz, but,
Thank you, Commissioner Diaz.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. That's all good news.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
And again, Commissioner Williams, there she is.
Thank you again for meeting with us. It was very helpful and informational, and great success stories that we did learn about from your 5-year plan. So if anyone hasn't heard it, I think it's a good thing that, to schedule a meeting with the chief to learn about it. And it's very helpful and informational as well.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. And, it can be confusing. If you don't understand it, feel free to get a hold of me and I'll explain it.
Very clear. It was very clear. So I have no questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Very good. Okay, unless there's anything else. Thank you, Chief.
All right. Have a good evening, everybody. Stay warm. It's cool out.
Bye now. Okay, I don't think we have anybody from the union. Next item would be the internal affairs. This is the year-end report, and we have Lieutenant Rosamond. Lieutenant, good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for having me tonight. I did email out the annual report as I've been doing the quarterly report for the last few years. I'd just like to present a couple of the stats for you guys as we move into the new year. If for some reason you guys didn't receive it through your email, I'll be happy to resend it to you again or even bring you a hard copy if you wish. But on the year, we had 218 total investigations. That was from January 1, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. 96 of those were citizens' complaints, formal citizens' complaints that fall under the Barros decree. It's important to note that last year we did have 111. So we did see about a 12% decrease this year compared to last year, which is excellent news. 32% of those complaints were under the category of police conduct. I know there was a couple questions. I believe Commissioner Cruz had last quarter about what's considered police conduct, and it is a broad term. But some of the ones I picked out were there was an alleged allegation that an officer was rude. There was one he was unprofessional, discourteous, belligerent. So it's that behavior, that conduct, the lack of empathy per se. So there's no complaint that we want to get, but if we're going to get a complaint, it's better than the excessive force or the serious misconduct allegations. As far as the citizens' complaints, I did some digging into our next gen system, and we've had one citizen's complaint per every approximately 1,200 calls for service. So that just attests to the hard work that the officers are doing, and they're out there, they're performing, they're doing their job, and they are doing their job well. In comparison, last year, it was one citizen's complaint for every 984 calls for service. As I said, we had about 13% decrease in citizens' complaints in 2024 compared to 2023. And as the chief stated earlier, there was a 14% increase in chief's internal investigation. 9 were suicide attempts and booking. We do mark them up as an investigation because we do go out there, we review it, we ensure that the CDOs and the officers there are protecting the individuals in our booking facility at a high level. And it is safe to say, I can say and attest that of all 9, there was no charges, no violations. The officers were there, they were prompt, and they ensured they got prompt medical attention as well for the individual in custody. Further breakdown on page 6, we did 64 police background investigations last year. We did 8 laterals. We did public safety telecommunicators. And again, as I said, it was 96 citizens' complaints. As far as the outcomes of the investigations, the Board of Police Commissioners in 2024, we heard 5 Barros disciplinary hearings for 6 officers. The board also heard 3 second step hearings. And as far as the chief's internal investigations, there was 10 investigations with recommended charges to the chief's office involving a total of 11 officers. So in total, there was 22 recommendations for policy violations in 2024. It was 11 through Barros and the board, and it was 11 through the chief. So it was pretty consistent there. I'm not going to touch on it because I think Lieutenant Lyons will later. We do have a few pending internal affairs investigations that do need Barros hearings. As I touched on with the backgrounds in 2024, we did the various groups. We did public safety communicators, detention officers, certified officers, and 2 of the civil service tests resulted in Bridgeport Police Academy class 46 and 47. And then we look forward to the new civil service test. We have a group of about 33 that we're going to process beginning the first week of February, and then hopefully waiting for the second group to come in maybe a month after. So we've begin processing them. And as the chief said, hopefully we get a big academy class in the first quarter of this year. The graphs on 7, it's just, again, it's a comprehensive review depicted through the graphs, just the quantities and the categories of complaints. And if there's any specific questions, I'll be happy to answer those. I think they are fairly self-explanatory. As far as staffing in IA, we're currently staffed with Sergeant Lawrence Lazaro, Sergeant Ashley Taylor, Sergeant John Topolsky, Detective Norris, and then newly acquired Sergeant Carter, who his first day was yesterday. We're going to try to build him in and break him in as quick as possible so he can hit the ground running. As far as 2025, just the goals for us, just remain focused on reducing overall investigations, doing the best we can, just upholding the principles and the integrity of the department and our investigations. Just to conclude, I just want to, ensure the commissioners that, day in, day out, investigators here, we're working hard, working diligently, working for the commission, the city, and the chief of police and the department. And I just want to express my gratitude to the board for all your support and everything you do for us.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Lieutenant. It's appreciated. And just notice that the graph of types of considered complaints, it's, you mentioned what police conduct complaints usually entail, but very light in some of it, like excessive force. You only had 3 complaints last year, from what I can say, and that's an impressive figure also.
It is impressive, and of those 3, none were sustained.
Mm-hmm. All right, very good. Guys are doing well then.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions for the lieutenant? Okay. All right, Lieutenant, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes,
Keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you, commissioners. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you for the well-written report.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Go LT.
All right, moving along. And we didn't, it wasn't necessary to go into executive session here. We didn't get into specifics. So if you notice that on the agenda that we were going to go into executive session, that was only if need be, which we didn't need to. Next item on the agenda is the clerk's report on the status of pending matters. Turn it over to Lieutenant Lyons.
I hope
And her cat.
I couldn't kick her off. It's a benefit of being able to do this from home, I guess, right? Lieutenant Rosem, I hope is still on. Is he still on? Yes. Okay, good. We have 5 Barbo's hearings that we need to schedule. One is 3 officers on the same call, and then there's 2 other separate ones. I know we've tried in the past a couple different ones. Maybe we should pick 2 dates for each one, and hopefully we'll be able to get it to work. Because it's been a while. I think it's been since October, maybe.
So you're looking for 2 dates, 2 evenings for each case?
Well, I mean, I think we only need 1, but maybe have a backup one so that we can, in case one doesn't work out. And I know it's very hard sometimes to get everyone together.
All right, so just to be clear, 2 dates for all 3 items.
Correct. I think that would work. Yes.
So we're not talking a total of 6 dates. We're talking a total of 2. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But maybe a backup one in case we do have to cancel one of those dates, so we don't have to. So we can make sure we get it done.
Okay. Assuming that both sides would be ready for these, can we look at calling it for 2 weeks out? Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Commissioner Diaz is fine with that. Commissioner Farrow is okay with that. Commissioner Williams, does that work into your schedule? All right, very good. Well, we'll have 4 on anyway, and hopefully we'll get the other 2 as well. But Tuesdays seem to be good for everybody involved. All right, so 2 weeks from today, that what does that make it? I'm sorry.
February 4th.
February 4th. Okay.
And then do you want to pick another date for the other hearings? I think Sergeant Taylor, correct me if I'm wrong, Lieutenant Rosem, I think she's better with Wednesdays or Thursdays than Tuesdays.
She's better Wednesdays or Thursdays, and 2 of those cases are hers. So if we could do them in the same night, that would just make sense for her.
Oh, okay.
The 2 individual cases, right, LT?
Yes. Yep.
So we could do the one that has all 3 on the 2nd, and then maybe the other one we can pick another date.
I think we said the 4th. Do we say February 4th?
I'm sorry, the 4th. Yep,
Yep.
it's February 4th for the one that has 3 officers, and then if
And maybe would the following evening work? Would be able to get 4 commissioners for that?
That'll work for me.
That works for Commissioner Diaz.
Works for us.
Okay. You good, Ed, Terry?
February 6th.
Well, the 5th, actually.
Oh, the 5th.
Yeah, be back to back. No?
Wednesdays
Okay.
are not good for
All right,
me.
we have three. I'm sure we can work on Commissioner Lyons and or Anna, as long as, I know we have three, we'll get a fourth. Okay, so the fourth and the fifth then, if that's okay with everybody? Okay, you're gonna notify the parties involved, Lieutenant Lyons,
Absolutely. I'll send that out as soon as I can.
and I'll talk to Commissioner Lyons and make sure he'll be available for at least Wednesday. Okay, all right, very good. Anything else,
I have
Lieutenant?
nothing else right now.
Okay, all right, we'll move on to new business. We have a request from Councilmember Denise Taylor Moy to address the board about concerns on Lafayette Street. Denise, are you still with us?
I'm still with you. I'm
Okay, there
getting
you are.
ready to go into public speaking here at City Council. But I have the residents there from Lafayette Street, and some of the concerns that they have there, they're online so that they can talk and speak for themselves. This is one of the things that they wanted to do. But while I do have you, Ms. Lyons, I do need to make another call to you in regards to street bumps and humps and some couple other things in the community. But I would like to turn it over to Mr. McNeil. Is he on?
I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Denise, thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone. Charles McNeil, Lafayette Street resident for 20 years. There's a couple of concerns that the residents have, and I did forward an email to Ms. Lyons just so that she can later on share that with the rest of the board members. You can have it in front of you. One of the concerns, number one, was need to implement permit parking in the south end. Homeowners and residents become frustrated with the lack of parking availability during events at the amphitheater, also with the Total Mortgage Arena. Residents would like to discuss with city officials and board of police commissions how this need can be met. Same as the Cherry Street lofts where they implemented residential parking. In addition, we need to implement alternate side of the street parking, just to allow for proper street cleaning, that will prevent our sewers from, overflowing with garbage. So that's the first point. The second point is traffic concerns, with the opening of Bassick High School. Residents also have, major public safety concerns, with the influx of traffic during drop-off and pickup of students by parents during the morning and afternoon hours. Residents also would like to meet with the superintendent of schools, which we will reach out to them, the head of the bus company, and as well as the traffic division in the police department to review a traffic control plan that can protect the community. We must take careful consideration of the negative impact of this traffic will have on the south end, residents. Currently, residents have to contend with Bridgeport Alliance Daycare, the Port Jefferson Ferry, and now soon coming Bassick High School traffic. So it's a very busy area, and with all these different dynamics going on, it can definitely present public safety issues because the streets are very narrow. The third point is that residents also would like to meet with city officials and UI representatives to discuss 450 Broad Street. I think they're affiliated also with Bridgeport Housing Authority, but also just the appearance it has in the community. The lot is an eyesore for residents looking at the lot with building materials there. We also like to know what the plans are for that lot and how we can make it community friendly. We just definitely like to be at the table to discuss those ideas. And the fourth point, final one, is to implement speed cameras on Lafayette Street between Atlantic and Railroad Avenue, also Broad Street and Main Street from Railroad down to Atlantic, or either down to the next block where Bassick High School is, or where the old Conti's used to be. In addition, increased police presence in the early AM hours due to vehicle vandalism, and consider making Lafayette Street a one-way for public safety concerns. Again, the street is very narrow for two-way traffic, especially individuals parking from the daycare, getting out of their cars. When you have two cars coming in opposite directions and someone tries to open up their door, very dangerous situation. Parents trying to drop off their children. Got many side mirrors destroyed from cars coming too close. So these are just 4 points again that I think are definitely major concerns coming down the pipe, and we just want to be at the table when these issues are discussed and try to get some of these implemented as soon as we can. Again, I've passed out to Stacy for review. Thank you.
Before anybody has any questions for Mr. McNeil or the council member, is anybody else here to speak on Lafayette Street? Okay. Mr. McNeil, thanks very much for taking the time to come in front of us. And I'm trying to
It's
just
quite
get it's quite a bit on the list, but you know, I sent an email, forwarded to Stacy for you guys to get a copy of it, and then you know we can revisit it. Just I know you're looking for permit parking, similar to what they have down at Cherry Street. And I'm sorry, is somebody trying to chime in? That was done about 8-9 years ago for the Cherry Street lofts. I know it was more of a simple process there because the Railroad Avenue side of the Cherry Street lofts never had any parking issues previous to this. But even with that being said, I think it's still worth looking into, especially when you're dealing with folks going to events and stuff, which we're very happy that the surrounding areas is attending events at the arena and in the amphitheater. That's all well and good, but we want to make sure we're all mindful and considerate of the residents. So it's something that's possible. It's something that I think Lieutenant Lyons, if you could forward the concerns and the request to the city traffic engineer for him then to at least take a study of that between the permit parking and also the possibility of alternate side of the street parking signs to help with cleanup. Those are great if they're adhered to and sometimes need to be enforced. But if you can pass that along, and also may I suggest, Lieutenant, that you also inquire as to whether the city traffic engineer has come up with any sort of plan for the increased traffic that is going to be going along with the opening of Bassick High School down there. As far as you're requesting a meeting with the UI for those concerns, I would suggest calling the mayor's office if you could, Mr. McNeil, or Denise can facilitate that for a meeting with someone inside the mayor's office. Constant Vickers is one person, and also Anthony Paoletto, who would usually take care of those requests. And as far as cameras are concerned, that would be something I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lieutenant, that would probably fall under Captain Breck in the Fusion Center, if there's any possibility of making that happen.
So I do know that the break-ins on that whole side of the town, well, the whole city, but especially that side and over by the Cherry Street apartments, has been something that has been brought up multiple times by the city, the constituents and by ourselves. We are actively working on that. I do know we do have cameras now in the Cherry Street apartment area. I believe that was between Captain Grech and the Cherry Street. They were able to get some cameras up. We are actively trying to work on that. I know our task force are aware of it as well. It is a little difficult because, you know, juveniles and the time of day and everything else, but that was actually our chief has a CompStat meeting every Wednesday, and that was a big topic that was up, especially with UB too and everyone else. Unfortunately, we're being hit very hard, but we are actively trying to work on solutions for this.
And I also believe the owners of Cherry Street had some skin in the game also, if I remember right, when it came to the cameras, or they worked something out with Captain Grech. What between what he was able to come up with and what the owners of Cherry Street provided, they at least got the ball rolling on it.
Yes, they've been working very closely. Cherry Street has been trying very hard too. It's just a very, unfortunately, a dark and difficult area, but they are working on lighting. They do have some cameras up. It has decreased a little by our numbers, even though it doesn't make any of the residents there feel better, because I know it's still actively being broken in. But that is a concern. All the vehicle break-ins throughout the city, but especially on the south end of the city.
Okay.
We've been talking about it. We have been trying to brainstorm and figure it out.
Ms. McDowell, I'll be meeting with Captain Grech tomorrow on some other business, but I will bring that up and see what ideas you may have on that. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah,
Denise?
yeah, I just want to say that Captain Grech, he has come out to Windward, and he has spoken to some of the residents in the community in regards to the break-ins and things that we should be looking out for. You know, we're trying to have some other meetings to let more residents be aware of what's going on across the city. You know, I know all parts of the city is having the same problems, you know, and I just want to thank you guys for giving Mr. McNeil some of the answers that he's been waiting, trying to get for the past almost 3 years right now, you know. So I do want to thank you, Danny. I do want to thank you, Lieutenant Lyons. I just want to thank you both for getting some of these answers to the residents there. Mr. McNeil will surely pass it on. He's a great person, and he's on the DTC, and he stays on top of what's going on in the community.
Okay, great. And Lieutenant Lyons, when you communicate with the city traffic engineer, can you copy the board members as well as our council person here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'll reach
I
out to
think
Mr. McNeil with whatever other contacts I can give him to help solve some of those problems.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, folks.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Richard Baldwin, and my concern is with Cottage Street. I would like to have it turned to a one-way street because it's a narrow street also, and we would like to have speed bumps put on our street because of the cars speeding through our street because of Lewis Street and Garden. They have speed bumps, and they're using our street as a highway. And we have a lot of kids that go to school, to Roosevelt School. And though George Cruz and Denise Taylor Moy have helped get our street paved finally, but we also need those speed bumps because it's just an accident waiting to happen here as people speed up and down our street.
Mr. Ball, as I know that Denise will be forwarding at least one request for speed humps in her district, and I'm sure she can add Cottage Street to that as well. And it just got Cottage Street. I know Cottage Street's a very narrow street. Is there parking now on both sides of the street, or just one side, right?
No, it's both sides of the street.
It's both
Both
sides.
sides.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I would just like to see it one way from Arneson Ave going east to Park Ave.
Commissioner Roach, if I may,
Yes.
for Mr. Baldwin and Mr. McNeil and Councilwoman McMoy, please, any concerns or complaints regarding any traffic, the signs, speed humps or anything, you can reach out to me and I will send you any policies or what I need in order to pass along to the next step. You can take down my phone number if you'd like. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay, so, well, my phone number, I know, Councilwoman, I know we've been playing a little phone
I
tag.
know.
But my office
Okay.
number is 203
203
581
581
5129.
5129.
And then I'll give you my email, which is a little quicker for me to respond just because it's easier from wherever I am. And my email is Stacy, Stacey
Okay.
.lyons, LYONS at
Okay.
bridgeportct.gov.
Okay, that's Bridgeport spelled out.
Yes, sir. Yes. And usually I respond to my emails within a day or two. So if I don't, then something went wrong and call me. But usually I
Okay.
do. And then I can explain the policy on how to get these traffic situations started and fixed and everything else and go from there.
Yeah, well, I tried on the one-way street. I've gotten all the names of all the people that were for it, and it said I needed at least 70. I've gotten more than that. And then they turned around and said I need the owners, which most of them, if not all of them, don't live here, except us. I'm an owner. Me and my wife, and Betty Baldwin, and she's with the DTC. I'm a retired firefighter, and Air Force Vietnam era vet.
Oh, I think I spoke to you guys on a meeting, correct?
Yeah, I think yes, you
Yes.
have. And yeah, but we, like I said, it's just an accident waiting to happen with the speed bumps. And like I said, it's a narrow street, coming from Arneson Ave down to Park, and it gets narrower as you go down. And with the snow, bad weather, and though we don't get that much snow as much anymore, but still, it's a narrow street. Yeah. And then, like I said, we're close to Roosevelt School. A lot of kids go back and forth. Yeah. So it's a safety hazard. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, the next item, we have one item under old business, and it was tabled at last month's meeting. And this is a request from the city engineer's office to install a no parking anytime zone at Wood Avenue Park, where Wood and Benham and Grover Street meet, the small park over there. And I understand that no parking along the perimeter is requested. And this request came from the Department of Public Facilities. I guess they were having some access issues or whatnot. It was tabled at last month's meeting. I wasn't present at last month's meeting. Does anybody recall what the issue may have been for tabling this?
Sir, I believe we have Aaron Curry here to talk about this.
Oh, Aaron, are you on? I'm sorry.
Yes, through the chair.
Please go right ahead, Aaron. It's Aaron Curry he's the Deputy Director of Public Facilities.
Good evening, everyone. We put the request in because we've been getting a lot of complaints about just litter everywhere, a lot of drug activity. And it's hard for our guys to go out there and do their daily operations. Currently, the city of Bridgeport, along with the proper approval from the Parks Board, we knocked down the gazebo that was bringing in a lot of foot traffic and things of that nature. So currently, we're requesting that we put no parking signs around the perimeter of the park, so it can help the police better police the area, so they can stop it from the drug activity and the hangouts and everything else that's just, having the people in the resident just uncomfortable, and the same thing for the local businesses in that area. So that's why we put in the request today for the no parking signs around that perimeter.
And it's just the perimeter of the park though, right, Aaron? From what I understand, they're not looking, the other side of the street that abuts the businesses will still be available for parking. And I know at least a few of those businesses have ample parking spaces. I know there's a lot directly across the street for the businesses there. So I don't think I don't anticipate this to be any sort of a hardship for folks looking to park.
And that is correct, Dan. So currently, right now, a lot of the businesses in that area are not capable of getting customers to park around that perimeter because it's mostly taken up by just people that are hanging out at the gazebo. But with us knocking down that gazebo, it's helped reduce some of that foot traffic, but not all of it. And talking to Captain Greck and his team, that they felt that if we put the no parking signs, it will better help them to police the area.
So it looks like a win-win then. Any questions for Aaron? No. All right. With that, I will entertain a motion to approve the request.
I have a question.
Oh, one question. Commissioner Williams, please.
Forgive me for my background noise. So if I hear correctly, if you're coming down it because it's a one-way street, you're looking at coming down everything on the left-hand side, and then when you go around, everything would be like technically on the left-hand side, going and coming. You want the no parking in that perimeter.
It's around the perimeter of the park. I mean, it's a small park, but it's I believe it's 3 sides, and just the spots that would be abutting the park would be no parking.
It's only one way on one side of it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's only one way each way. And we're just looking at the left-hand side, not the right-hand side, because the housing are on the right-hand side, and so would be the businesses, correct?
So it's anything that's on the perimeter of the park. So everything around the park perimeter, that's where we're looking for the signs. Nothing in front of the businesses, nothing on the property of the homeowner side, just around the park.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Diaz. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Farrell. All those in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you for your time, Aaron.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, commissioners. Everyone have a good night.
Good night.
All right, next item under old business was something that was tabled from December 17th for 15-minute parking signs at 7 to 23 Lafayette Circle, which nears right before Fairfield Avenue there. I know this has been tossed around quite a bit, and I had a conversation with Commissioner Williams earlier today. And she brought up, and I hadn't heard from, I wasn't present at the last meeting, but at some point we had at least approved parking for unloading only. And initially that was for the apartment buildings at the corner. I know, especially in the beginning when there was a lot of activity, folks were moving in. That of course has gone down, and it's usually on weekends. The lady who owns the bakery slash lunch place Laisha's had been requesting parking in front of her place. And I know she, like a lot of downtown businesses, are trying to keep her head above water. The request is to install 15-minute parking signs at that address or addresses. Is there any other questions or discussion?
Every once in a while.
There you go. Okay. Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Diaz. Is there a second?
Awesome.
Seconded by Commissioner Farrell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that also passes unanimously. We have nothing under correspondence this month or letters of appreciation, or no business under widow's pension for that matter. So we're going to move on to the city traffic engineer's report. The items under 8A, 1 and 2. There's a request to remove a handicap parking sign at 277 East Avenue. As it turns out, there is a new owner at 277 East Avenue. The previous owner had requested the handicap sign, and that person is no longer there. The other item, it was to install no parking here to corner signs at the intersection of Maplewood Avenue and Lenox Avenue. And that was the result of the request under 8B, which was to request was to install a multi-way stop there, which the city traffic engineer is not favorable to because of Lenox Avenue being a feeder street. Therefore, he recommended that the no parking here to corner signs be installed. It's a intersection's had a couple of accidents. There's the issue with the side issue with the cars being parked too close to the corner. He seems to think that will take care of the issue, or at least help with it. So unless there's any questions on the two items under 8A, I will entertain a motion to approve the combine and approve the two requests from the city traffic engineer. Not all at once.
So moved. To combine A1 and 2.
Motion to combine and approve those two items. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Diaz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Taking care of that. The one item that the city traffic engineer is asking us not to approve is the aforementioned installation of multi-way stop control at Maplewood Avenue and Lenox Avenue. Any other questions on that? Any comments? Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the request of the city traffic engineer, which is not to approve the multi-way stop.
So moved.
It's moved by Commissioner Williams, seconded by Commissioner Diaz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Hey, one thing I want to mention before and thank you, Commissioner Farrell, for attending as well. But one of the city council members had asked the city attorney's office to schedule a session where the council members were given the full background on the Barrows decree and the process and whatnot. And I was there for the beginning of the meeting, and Commissioner Farrell thankfully showed up so I could go to my next appointment. There were some questions on how we operate, which I believe was explained thoroughly, not just through Attorney City Attorney John Bohannon, but Ed and myself were able to answer some questions and some of the concerns that the council people had. So I just wanted to mention that took place last week. And unless there's anything else, would anybody care? Oh, Commissioner, I'm sorry, not Commissioner Lyons, but Lieutenant Lyons.
That's
Yes.
my time now, I guess.
Yeah,
That's my
I
future.
know. I'm sorry.
No, that's my future. No, I
Yeah,
sent you a
it's-
quick text. Unfortunately, it was brought to my attention and I almost forgot that February 5th, when we scheduled our second Barrows hearing, is actually the graduation for the police academy as of right now. So I know some of the commissioners like to be there and get to be up on stage. So if we'd like to pick a different date, even if it's the next day after, I know that would be 3 days in a row for the commissioners though, but the 5th, it's up to you guys if you'd rather the Barrows or to attend the graduation.
What do you folks think? I know Commissioner Williams can't make that Wednesday.
I mean, if we can get the barrels out of the way, I think that's more needed.
No, I'm okay with that too. So you're
I mean,
I'm
like,
sorry.
I like to welcome the new officers in
Now
we need to get these barrels done.
and I'm sorry, the graduation is the 5th, the Tuesday, right? Or the Wednesday rather.
Correct, pending any
Okay.
issues from
Okay.
there.
All right.
Well, we probably shouldn't do it that day then.
I'm fine either way. I know Commissioner Diaz says he's okay with scheduling Barrows on that Wednesday, but
The next week, also, like the 4th, and then the following
we can go to the 4th and the 11th. They're on Tuesday. That makes it easier for Commissioner Williams, I believe.
whatever works.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Ed, you all right with make it the 11th then?
That's fine.
Okay. So we'll have at least the 4 of us for 2 weeks from Tuesday and then the following Tuesday.
Perfect, okay.
All right. Nope.
Once I
Nobody
get
makes-
the invitations, I'll send them directly out.
I
to you.
thought one of them had to be on a Wednesday or Thursday.
Mm.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. And the reason we did that was Tuesday doesn't work for Sergeant
Sergeant.
Taylor.
Taylor, right.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, let's back to the drawing board then.
You want to do the 12th?
What about that Thursday? And we'll keep it all in 1 week. Okay, whoever wants to show up for Wednesday's graduation,
Mhm.
it'll be a police commission week for you.
Right, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
We
Thank
talking
you for
about the 6th?
bringing that up, Terry. Geez, flipped my mind. So
The
we're
6th?
looking at the 4th and the 6th for Barrows. And it frees us up for the 5th for the graduation.
Can't promise to be on the 6th, but I'll do my best.
Okay. I'll work on the other 2. All right,
Thank you.
cool. All right. Anything else, Lieutenant? Anything
is
else?
it for me.
Anything else, commissioners?
I will have a widow's pension coming up soon. I didn't have the information yet, but if I get it soon, I'll contact you, Commissioner, to see if maybe we can do a quick special one just for that.
Okay, I'm sorry, you kind of, you zoned out there for a second. It's for,
A widow's pension possibly.
oh, okay, all right, there's an emergency, I'm sure we can,
He passed
we can-
away a week and a half ago. We're just waiting for the information.
okay, if we need to act on that before our next regular board meeting, in a perfect world, we can schedule it for 5 minutes, 2 weeks from Tuesday. If you need it done before that, let us know.
Correct. Perfect.
All right. And thank you folks in the past we've had a couple of special meetings, in the last couple of months. And I know it's in and out, but it's still, it's still tough getting it done without the special meetings. So those are appreciated for you guys for attending. And does anybody care to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved by several, seconded
Second.
by everybody too. Okay, all right. Not too bad, folks. 7:07.
Mhm.
Considering the late start, I think we still did it in a minute or two under an hour. So,
Perfect.
The recording has stopped. All right. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Dolores.
You're welcome. Sorry
Good
for
night.
my tardiness.
Lieutenant,
Thank you.
Yes, sir, ma'am.
Bye-bye,
Yes,
everyone.
ma'am.
did I
Bye,
not,
Hector. Thank you, Hector.
the residency form, did you get mine?
Go to the diner, Hector.
I'm not sure if I got yours. I know I have Commissioner Diaz. I do not have Commissioner Farrow.
What is this, a residency form?
Yes, that I sent an email, but I'll resend it.
No, I have it, but I thought I sent it, but I
know I have two. I just don't, I know one is definitely Commissioner Diaz. I just don't know if the other one was yours or Commissioner.
no, if you didn't, then yeah,
Mine's in.
okay.
Stace.
I will send that over tonight.
Thank you for reminding me and Commissioner Farrow of that.
Okay.
Good night, guys.
Good
Bye,
night.
folks.
Bye.
All right, blessings.